These are challenging times for small business owners. This is not a time to go it alone. This is a time to be in community. This is a time to be talking to other entrepreneurs, meeting new business partners, talking to mentors. All those things happen at networking events and also online, and you can call people. But I've noticed a lot of women in our community are trying to ramp up their networking because people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And when the economy is down and people are more careful about what they spend money on, then you're going to have a better chance of getting new business from people who have met you, who trust you a little bit, and where there's a relationship. But not everybody loves networking. So whether you do or don't love networking, today I'm going to share my ACE networking strategy method that I've been using for over a decade to meet new business partners, make new friends, have an entrepreneurial community. And it's really not that hard. So whether you've been doing your own version of this, great. Maybe you'll pick up one little thing you could add to it. Or if you've been kind of dreading networking or not sure if you're doing it right, this will give you a bit of a roadmap. We also have a blog post about it at millionwomen.com. So feel free to pop over there after and read the article called How Can We Make Networking Less Awkward? All right. So the three things I want you to think about when you're networking are ACE, the ACE networking strategy, I call it. Authentic, customized, and extended. When you're meeting somebody new at a party or online or at a conference, you want to really force yourself to be as authentic as possible. Now, that might sound obvious, like, of course I'm going to be authentic, but we tend to put on a little bit of a persona when we're at these networking events. At the extreme, it's like, you're saying what your business does and handing someone a business card. That kind of gives people the ick, right? So you don't want to be doing that. And so force yourself to think of something very, very human and maybe a little vulnerable that's happened that you can share with people. Maybe it's like, oh gosh, I haven't been to a networking event in 3 months. This is my first one. I'm feeling kind of nervous. Or I know after COVID, I went around saying, I think I've lost some of my social skills. Do you feel like that too? And that opened up some great conversations. Maybe you could talk about something that happened with your child, or you could talk about something you saw in the news that made you concerned. Maybe avoid politics, but you know what I mean? Something just real, and it's not about business and not putting on airs. Try to really connect authentically. So that's the first thing. The second thing is customize your interactions. I used to be a nonprofit fundraiser, and they are the masters of this. Before we would go to events, back when I was doing major donor fundraising work, we would have a list of every single person attending. We'd have their pictures. We'd have little bios on them. We really were able to customize our interaction with every single person we met. So instead of just, hey, how are you? Right? You already knew this person spends half the year in Boulder, Colorado, and loves to ski and has started a company and maybe just sold it. And so you could go in at a much deeper level, like ask them a thoughtful question about one of those things. So see if when you're going to a networking event, is there any way of getting a hold of the list of people attending? I'm not saying you have to have a full-on spreadsheet with their picture and their company and their LinkedIn, but gather any information you can about who's going to be there. One of the biggest downsides of networking is that sometimes you go into these rooms and there's so many people and you're pulled in so many directions that you don't meet the people who could actually help you advance your business or become friends or colleagues. So get very intentional about doing research ahead of time. If you can't do that homework, then because they won't share the list or there's just no way of getting at it, when you walk in, ask the organizers, hey, who do you think I should meet? My business does such and such. Who would be a good person for me to meet here? Because maybe you don't know who's attending, but the organizers know who's attending. And chances are they want you to come away with new contacts and new connections. So they would be happy to make those introductions. It's also something you can ask if you get into a conversation with someone there. You can say, hey, I'm really hoping to meet somebody who does mortgage broker work. I'm a real estate agent and I've been looking for a new mortgage broker. So if you meet any mortgage brokers here, please send them my way. And it kind of gives that person a fun little assignment in case they meet someone who's a good fit with you and they can make that introduction. The last bit is the E. That is the extended. So you might not have heard of this psychological term, but I'm going to teach it to you now. It's kind of cool. It's called the mere exposure effect. And that's a psychological principle that says that the more you're exposed to something or someone, the more you like it. Familiarity breeds, comfort. And so if you see someone once, you might feel a little bit comfortable around them if you have a nice connection or people in common. But chances are it's on the second or third or fourth time that you'll start to feel like, oh, I really like this person. I know I've experienced this psychological phenomenon, near exposure effect, in workout classes. I go to the same Pilates class every Saturday morning. And by seeing certain people over and over again, I start to feel like we're friends. Maybe the first few times as we're putting on our clothes at the end, we don't say anything. But by the fourth or fifth time, when you're seeing the same person, you wind up chatting, oh, what are you doing today? What'd you think of the class? What'd you think of the sub, etc. So keep that in mind and be intentional about creating more opportunities for people to be familiar with you. It's great to come away from a networking event with a bunch of cards or contacts in your phone, but the real impact is going to be in the follow-up. So how can you become more familiar with them? Here are a few ideas. You could reach out right away after and just say, it was great to meet you. See if they would like to hop on a get to know you call. That would create some more familiarity. You could invite them to another event you're going to. Maybe a couple of weeks later, you're going to some other networking event. This is clearly the kind of person who gets out and about. So maybe they want to join you at the next one, or maybe they're also going. You could also create an opportunity to just maybe share an article about something that's on topic of what you talked about. Maybe you talked about AI and trying to get your arms around using AI for your business, and then you read an article about that. You could share it with them. Even just your name popping up in their inbox, if they answer you, that creates some more familiarity. And of course, you can also jump on LinkedIn or any other social media platform and connect with them, maybe comment on something they wrote about. There are so many ways to keep that connection going. And if there's someone you want to do business with who maybe is a gatekeeper, then you might need to do a little more work because more people are trying to get in front of them. So I used to sell B2B when I had my language teaching company, and I would keep an eye out for gatekeepers who were sitting on top of big budgets at retail that I was hoping they would buy my product. I would look at what conferences they were going at. What conferences are they attending? Where are they speaking? And just show up there. Because again, mere exposure effect, just by them seeing me again, if they met me really quickly at a trade show, there's going to be more familiarity, more chance that they'll open an email from me or take that phone call. So those are a few things you can do to increase the familiarity and take advantage of this near exposure effect. Super, super powerful. And again, you can reread all this on the blog. It's all mapped out there at millionwomen.com blog. While you're there, sign up for our newsletter list so we can stay connected. And if you are feeling like, hey, the economy has been really tough in the last few months, it's harder to close business, I need to ramp up my networking, it might be a good time to expand your entrepreneurial community, either through joining entrepreneurial organizations that meet in person or joining a group program, because half of entrepreneurship is just staying positive, looking for those new opportunities, and not letting the external circumstances dictate how we feel about our business and our prospects. I am rooting for you. Thanks for joining me. Stay brave and go big.